Hey, what's up? John from VideoFort.com here, bringing you a new After Effects tutorial. Today, we're going to be working with some Smokey text. So, grab a pack of cigarettes, a lighter, and let's get smoking. This is what we're doing. Actually, you know what? Don't do the cigarettes and lighter thing. That's actually not good for you. But this is completely safe and non-carcinogenic. So let's go ahead and get into it. Go up to Composition, New Composition, and we're going to name it Smokey Text. Wow, that's how you spell it. All right, 1920 by 1080, 24 frames per second, and 10 seconds for the duration. And we'll just go ahead and say OK. Then we will grab our text tool and type out our text VideoFort.com. I actually made that jingle up just now. Not true. Okay, from here we will go and pre-compose our text layer. Today we are going to be doing lots of pre-composing. It's just going to help us apply a bunch of different effects and switch things around and make it super duper. So we'll call this our text comp. Sweet. That way we know it's text. And we will apply our CC smear effect to it. So actually, let's rename it smear. We're going to be going off of effects today, and you notice there's two different smear effects. We want the CC smear, not the regular smear. So cool. And we'll go ahead and select that, and we'll go up to our CC smear effect, and just so you can kind of get a quick idea of how it works, look at that. It smears it, stretches it all the way across the screen. So you are already kind of getting an idea of how I did this animation, figuring it out. Really glad we have some of the smartest, and I mean this, guys, when I tell you this, the smartest YouTubers around. Alright, anyways, enough sucking up. Let's get these points set up. So I'm just going to bring this guy right over to here, just before it's starting to make him pull, and do about the same for this one. It's pretty much there. It's going to be, starting to wisp it. So do that. Then over here you see we've got our from and to points. We'll go ahead and keyframe both of those. And then with smear selected, we'll hit U on the keyboard, and that allows us to see anything that we've keyframed for whatever layer is selected. So that's why we're only seeing those. And we'll move forward about 3 seconds. Reposition that just a little bit. We gotta make sure that's selected so we can see our points. And I'm just going to drag this all the way over to about here. And this all the way over to here. Sweet. So what did that do? And this is kind of the effect we get. Awesome. That looks pretty nice. So now what we're going to do is put a mask around our VideoFort.com text. Let's go ahead and pre-compose this again. Just get pre-comped crazy. Actually, this one we don't need to. We'll just select our rectangle tool and draw mask. And notice how that's getting all crazy. That means our mask isn't big enough. So I'm just going to go ahead and redo this. Alright, so we'll grab our rectangle tool and draw a mask. I'm going to make it a little big. Doesn't matter how big. We don't want it too tight, but we don't want it like the same size as our comp. We want it to fit, nicely around our text. And we can even bring in the sides a little bit, make it look good. Awesome. Fantastic. So from here, what we'll do is bring up our mask transformation settings and keyframe the mask path. We're just going to set the first keyframe, and let's just go ahead and drag this right end all the way over so it covers our VideoFort text up. I tell you, my computer is liking to make that look funky, huh? Okay, so now we'll just start moving forward. Actually, we'll just go all the way to this end. Check it out. We're going to drag this all the way to the end of our text. All right. Now, this is not going to give us the desired effect right away. We're going to have to do some in-between keyframing. So bear with me. Oh, man, it's not doing a terrible job. The reason why we're getting all that jittery stuff in between is because your computer needs time to render, so it's trying to render that out. But let's see what we get. So if I just kind of click up here, I can click through frame by frame, and we'll go through, and we want to clean up anything when we've got this second bar of return. So we just want to make sure that we have that left end selected, and we can use our arrow tools to move the mask over so that it makes that go away. Sweet. We can probably also grab that and get those to go away. Ha! So go ahead and go through and do that. I'll do another one with you so you can kind of get the idea. I'm going to click through and see where we got that return coming. That first one seemed to have set us off pretty nicely. As I click through this, we can actually even exaggerate it more by pushing over our mask up until that return point. So that's probably too far. But yeah, go ahead and go through and adjust the mask accordingly. And once you have that all set up, I will rejoin you. I don't like holding your hand too much, so like I said, we'll get back soon. I'm not gonna leave you forever. Okay, see you soon, guys. Okay, so I'm just finishing up cleaning up the last of this, and I've got a pretty good thing going on. I'm going to go ahead and hit the N on my keyboard, and that's going to bring in my end point here, my work area, so I don't have to drag it over. It's nice. It snaps to wherever the time indicator is, and let's go ahead and play this back and see how it looks. Looks decent enough. I will accept that. It's acceptable. Well, it's acceptable for, a quick thing. Like I said, those other points are just my computer being super duper right now. It's doing some overtime, I guess. It's all like, hey, dude, you need to pay me more, or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, my computer doesn't get paid. But we can adjust those. So, just fix endpoints on spots like that if that's happening to you. And that should, help you out a little bit, or just give you some really cool. Just say it's effects. Oh yeah, it's part of the show. It's not. All right, so we got that set up. We're going to pre-compose this again, and we're going to call this one Mesh Warp. And we are calling it Mesh Warp because we are going to apply the Mesh Warp effect to it. So we'll go over to our effects and presets, choose Mesh Warp, and there it is. We'll just go ahead and drop this onto our comp. And as we scrub through, we can see that we've got a grid on our screen, and we've got our wispy text. I'm going to get to beginning and hit B, and that's going to bring in my beginning work area. And then I'm going to go ahead and just trim the comp to the work area. There we go. I like that. So we've got this mesh warp. It can be changed. You can change the grid up here to a bunch of different things. We're going to keep it 7x7 because, well, actually, let's do 5x7. I kind of like that. And that'll, allow us to grab these points and stretch them out and make it not a straight line just falling down. And it'll give us, some cool dynamics. Desirable dynamics. And if you didn't already, check that off. It's probably a good one to know. So we'll get this little wispy text, and anywhere on our grid that the text passes through, it's going to warp it like that. So if we scrub through, we can kind of see what text is going to hit it, and then maybe reset it here and restretch out these points. Don't do anything too crazily drastic, and what I like to do is kind of alternate. So if I pull this one this way, the next one gets pulled that way, so on and so forth. Not too technical. And don't move the points around the letters too much, because if you do that, it's going to distort your letters, and that's not exactly the effect you want. You just want to distort the wisp thing coming in. So if you want to have really weird looking letters, I understand, fine, but I'm just here to let you be aware of that. And we'll keep going. Right here looks like a good place to reset. So you get the idea. Go ahead and continue on, and I'll join with you after you have finished. After you have finished moving around your mesh warp to make your text look super wispy and not boring. So go ahead and do that, and rejoin you soon. Okay, so I've got pretty much all of my mesh warp set up. You notice how it just goes through and changes all the way through. If I hit RAM preview, or just my space bar, and it'll preview this, we can see our nice little wispy text effect going on. So that's fancy. Now, I'm still getting some of that weird stuff going on. I think that's just my computer. So if you're getting the same thing, just go into your comp. So if we go click into Mesh Warp comp, this is the mask comp that we have going on here. See that? And we can adjust that accordingly if we need to. Or let's say we need to change our text. We want it to say something else. We can go into that and change it as well. And that's one of the cool things about doing this pre-comping, is you can change everything, and all the effects that you've applied stay with it. So I can be like, or just create, I don't know. And then if we go back to our Smokey text, we can scrub through, and we got our create text doing it now. So fancy. Now, since this is a different length, it happens at a different point in time. So just keep that in mind. But I'm going to undo that and bring back our VideoFort text. So last thing, this is going to make it look all wispy and smoky like. We're going to pre-compose it again. So pre-compose, and we're going to call this effect forced blur. Blur. And if you haven't been, make sure you move all attributes into the new composition. We'll say OK. And we've got our forced blur guy there. With that selected, we'll search for forced blur in our effects and presets, forced blur. And we'll just go ahead and drag that right onto the comp. Sweet. So is it doing it? Why, yes, it is, very slightly. So we've got our shutter angle up here, and we've got our blur samples up here. Now, we'll leave blur samples at 8, and we are just going to crank this up to the highest it can go. I already know this. It is 3600. The reason I know this is because to try it out, I kept dragging it out, and it wouldn't go up, fast enough. So I just typed in 9 to 9 to 9 to 9 to 9 to 9 to 9, which is essentially infinity, and I got 3600. Wow. You can also, untick that if you want to, or put that back on, and forced blurred samples you can play around with. But it gives you that kind of cool smoky look. You can also turn that on. That'll do much. That'll just kind of create more blurriness and insanity. So, that wraps it up for today. Make sure to head on over to VideoFort.com. Check out some awesome stock footage over there. And click on subscribe over to your right if you want to stay up to date on all these sweet tutorials we put out to you. We love our viewers and want to keep them learned. So, check it out and make sure to have a great day. Or not. The choice is yours. Later, guys.